by Sideline Sports Network. I hope y'all are having a wonderful evening. Just got back here in time to do the show tonight. Went on a father-daughter's dance with all three of my daughters at school. So got back in time to do the show. I hope everyone's having a wonderful evening. If you are out doing something else, hopefully you get to catch the show later. This show is brought to you by Game Day Vodka. Game Day Vodka is an American-made and American-distilled vodka. And if you haven't tried it yet, go to GameDayVodka.com as long as you're 21 years of age or older. Or you can go to your local Publix Wine and Spirits and find your favorite team's colors and try the bottle out. It's actually very good. 6 times distilled. Very good product. We're proud to be partners with them. They're proud to be partners with Spirit Addicts. So tonight I am going to be covering some stuff about the spring practices. I'll also be covering some stuff about who's coming back for this weekend for recruits, also recruits that are coming. So basically I'm going to open up the chat. I want people to ask as many questions as they want, regardless if they're on or off topic. Ask as many questions as you would like, and we'll go from there. So starting off, we've got Jameis Winston, Derwin James, and Jalen Ramsey coming back this weekend. Luke Kromenhoek is extremely excited to meet Jameis. He watched him when he was here. Fryer is also excited. He doesn't know if he's going to make it or not. But if he gets to make it, then he obviously gets to meet 3 greats. That's done a whole lot for Florida State, obviously. What they've accomplished at Florida State and then moved on. Jalen at one point was considered the best absolute shutdown corner in the NFL, and Derwin is still considered the shutdown safety in the entire league. So Jameis, someone just needs to give him a shot. Jameis, in my opinion, hasn't been given the rightful amount of shots. Personally, he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right out of college. Didn't have much of an offensive line there. Didn't have too many weapons besides Mike Evans. So beyond that, he goes to the Saints. And even Drew Brees told Jameis, hey, it's your team now. Was very respected by Drew Brees. Drew Brees showed him some things as well. Really helped him on his craft. And he had a little bit of an injury, but never was given the opportunity to play ball again with the New Orleans Saints. So we'll see what's next in Jameis' future. Regardless, he's successful. He's got things that work out for him. So it's huge to get them back for this recruiting weekend, though. This isn't something that falls short. Getting Jameis back is huge within itself. Then you add getting Jalen Ramsey and Derwin James here as well in the same weekend. Obviously, Florida State is trying to flex, is what I'm going to say. And if you bring those 3 in, you're absolutely flexing. There's no doubt about it. Make sure that y'all check out our space tomorrow on Twitter. We will have Brian Stork on. Make sure that you're in there. You can get brought up and ask any question that you would like. Brian's an amazing guy. He's a wide open, no filter type guy. He'll tell you anything that you want to know. So if you have any questions about that 13 National Championship team or any personal question about him, make sure you join us on the Twitter Spaces tomorrow at 5. He will be with us. Pete is going to be hosting. I will be a co-host, and Johnny, with All Things Seminoles, will be a co-host as well. Usually Logan Robinson from No Game Day comes on there with us, and George from Renegade Sports Report comes on there with us, and then Seymour Stacks also ends up on there with us. So we got quite a few different people that cover Florida State that are talking to Brian. But if we're missing a question or there's something that you would like to ask just to be part of the conversation, absolutely make sure that you request to come up and ask whatever question you would like. And you can ask multiple questions. You could ask multiple people. So make sure that you check that out tomorrow at 5 p.m. on Twitter. If you need to get to that space, I have shared it. Also, at 5 p.m., all you got to do is click on my profile. You can click straight on my link, and it'll take you straight to the space itself. If you've never dealt with spaces or done spaces, it's a really cool thing to do. So try to check it out if you never have. Creating a Twitter profile is not hard. Twitter's where if you want to know anything about recruits, you want to know anything about what's going on with the program, Twitter's the way and where it is. Facebook, not so much anymore. especially with the recruits themselves and also current players. They just don't use Facebook like that. So, most of the stuff gets dropped on Twitter. But anyways, getting into what's going on at spring practice. Obviously, on the last episode, I told everyone who Norvell came out and said who was going to be limited in spring, also who was going to be completely out for the entirety of spring. Micah Pittman's going to be out with a hip issue. Robert Scott's got an ankle issue that they, had coming out of the Oklahoma game. One of them was hurt even before then, but they're not going to be participating in spring ball at all. Malcolm Ray's another one that I don't believe is going to be being able to participate. But moving forward with this weekend, big names are coming back, like Luke Kromenhawk. We're trying to get Fryer back to come in on an unofficial visit. We've got multiple 2024 recruits that are coming in. We've got 2 linebackers that Derek Ray and Randy Shannon are getting to come in, which I've been saying we need to heat up on linebackers for quite some time. One of them's a 5-star. One of them's a 4-star. The gentleman that is a 5-star doesn't want to be recognized. He doesn't want interviews, stuff to that nature, because he's already committed verbally to someone else. But this will be his might be his 3rd time coming back to Florida State. So we're definitely weighing heavy on him. He definitely loves what he's seeing. So we're trying to flip that recruit. So power to the NOLES and what they're doing, because that's what we want to hear. There's this linebacker situation for the past couple of years has been thin. It's been extremely thin, and I'm not talking about just for Florida State. I'm talking about the high school rankings, also in the transfer portals. There's just not a lot of great linebackers out there right now. A lot of guys are rush-ins. They get switched to safety because they're a little bit undersized. Just weird things like that. So it's really important for you to land top linebackers if you can get them on campus. We're getting we're getting a couple this weekend, and then the following weekend, I don't think we have anybody, if I'm not mistaken. We've got full pads in spring on Friday. Guys look great in what Norvell calls pajamas, which is the shorts. But you want to see more physical contact. You want to see what everybody's actually doing. And Tavius Woody is having a decent spring. I've listened a little bit to Logan talk about he wants Antavius to listen more, stuff to that nature. So he's seeing something that I have not seen. But Antavius is going to be a vital piece in the next, especially in 2024. He has switched over to the defensive line. We recruited him as an offensive lineman. He switched over to the defensive side, probably for playtime reasons. And he's just very strong. He also was able, in this today's practice or the other day's practice, he was able to do this back spin move and get straight to the quarterback, which was amazing. I got to see the film on that. There's a lot of things that happened today and the other day that was really good as far as what the defensive line looks like. We have way more depth at defensive line than before, which you have heard us say that multiple times on the show. But it is true that our defensive line is quite scary, to be honest. I got to call out Jeff Hill real quick, put his donation up here. He didn't ask a question, but he appreciate the $10 donation. Then he just sent another one. Sent another $10 donation. Recruiting is going really well. I think top 10 is possible. I think we might be able to sneak into the top 5. We'll see. So, Jeff, what I will say about that is not only is Florida State's staff, but Florida State's current recruits are going for that number 1 spot. I'm not saying that they get there, but I'm also not saying that they don't. They're extremely motivated to land a very high class, if not the top class, for the 2024 class. I had been telling people for quite some time that the 2024 class will be the best class that Norvell has landed as a head football coach, regardless of where he is, but especially at Florida State. And it will be. Maybe 25 becomes even better, but 24, it will be the best class that he's got due to silent commits that are already committed, due to verbal commits that are already up there, due to the guys that are telling us that they're going to commit to Florida State very soon. There's a lot of things to be excited about as far as the recruiting trail goes for 2024. I can say that there's some high skill players that are going to be committing to Florida State in the near future. There's some guys that are going to be at the spring game that immediately before or immediately after should be verbally committing right then that are big names. That's really, really big for what Florida State's doing. Man, I'm glad that anyone that received the football cards, I'm ecstatic that y'all love the gifts. You keep supporting the page, I'll keep sending gifts. Like I said, when you support the page, 20% of this goes to FSU athletes. And then obviously the other part of it, I spend on giving gifts away, whether that be tickets, cards, helmets, whatever it is. This is something that I love to do. And the more y'all support the channel, the more I can give back to the people they're supporting. It's dire for me to do. I want to give back. I want for when there's participation on my channel that I participate by giving back to all of the fans that are keeping this thing going, and that respect what we say. Last year we had a huge part in. I think it was ESPN. No, it was Fox Sports that reached out to me and said that I only messed up on one game. And it was very remarkable because no one else put in picks for us to go 9-3 in the regular season. They had seen it on my social media months before the season ever started. It was right when spring ball started when I put out my prediction. This year I put my prediction out in numbers. I have not told you who I think we're losing to yet because I don't want to get the ridicule for it for 4 months before we start. So I've got us going 11-1 in the 2023 season, losing one regular season game. And I do have us winning the ACC title. So it doesn't matter who we lose to. I still have us going the ACC title and winning it. Moving forward a little bit with what's going on at Florida State, you have to start putting the puzzle pieces together. Florida State is in the situation, per 247 currently has the 4th ranked class in 2024. That's a great place to be at this time of spring. And it's a great place to build from. We've built from such a lower level, like being at 25, 30, 35, even 50 one year, to build from there out of spring. And it was all about what we were getting, July and August and later on in the season for it to matter. So what Florida State's building off of is a class that's already ranked at number 4. And you've got Charles Lester that's coming that you got to keep on. You got Cam Davis that's coming back that you got to keep on. Florida State's also trying to get Dalvin Cook back. It just didn't work out for him to come this weekend with these guys. But even if Dalvin comes by himself, that's a flex within itself. We all know that. What he's been able to do at the Minnesota Vikings is second to none. I think he's had one full healthy year. And even the years that he wasn't fully healthy, it was 1,000 plus, I believe, on every year. So Dalvin has done tremendous for the Minnesota Vikings, tremendous for himself. Doesn't look like he's slowing down any. Looks to be a back that's going to be in, make the long haul out of it. Hopefully that's what happens. So it's going to be really big when Florida State gets to say that Dalvin's coming back for the recruiting and some other guys. There's some other guys that are big name-wise that you can bring back. I think Kelvin Benjamin's still a big name to bring back. Rudolph's a big name to bring back. There's plenty of guys that Florida State can reach out to and get them to come back and, really make a recruiting weekend out of it. And show these young men exactly what it is that you get by coming to Florida State. The biggest thing is the question is, the 2013 National Championship team, they played for Jimbo Fisher, not Mike Norvell. But these young men didn't commit just to a coach. They committed to the program. They committed to the school, the university itself. And they love this university and they love this entire program. And they're very impressed with what Michael Alford's doing, and they're even more impressed with what Mike Norvell's doing as far as getting Florida State back to where it's deserving of. Norvell is not going to fall short once you get this type of rhythm and hype of things going behind you. You won't fall short. It's very – Florida State's trajectory is going in such the right direction that you can't be upset with what we've seen in the last year. Like I've told people, I think our offense is as electric as it was last year. It's going to be a little bit more pristine, but just as electric. You'll see a little bit cleaner play maybe, less holding calls, better catches, more routine plays made easier. But I think you're going to see the biggest jump in defense. I think the defense is going to be like everyone, all fan wise, are going to, because it's going to be so visually noticed. People are going to be like, man, our defense is playing lights out. Our defense is this. Our defense is that. And then maybe some of the fans that don't believe in Fuller will start believing in Fuller because he's starting to get some really good talent on that side of the ball. Now that he hasn't had any, just hasn't had depth on that defensive line, especially. Now that he does, I expect this defense to wreak havoc on most offenses, if not all of them. And I think it's going to be a really good season. I think our defense is going to be noticeably better. I think it's going to be to the situation where turnovers are something that I think we needed to work on from last year. We had a few, but not near enough. Greedy Vance, what he's done in spring ball so far, yes, I know there's only been a couple, but also tour of duty. What Greedy Vance has been able to do, he was one-on-one with Douglas. Douglas is a very hard person to cover. Y'all know how fast he is. He was able to cover Douglas very well. He was also able to cover someone that was almost a foot taller than him and Johnny Wilson and cover very well. Greedy Vance is all lights out right now, man. He's really taken the next step. He really understands the playbook now, understands where he's supposed to be. So I look for Greedy Vance to stand out this year, really do. I really think he's going to be, a big portion of the turnover rate for Florida State as the defense moves forward. Also, Kevin Knowles is going to be out for the rest of the spring. He has – I don't think I can release his injury report. He just has a mild injury. It's nothing – the cool part of all of the injuries that are going on, these guys will be back mid-summer, if not early summer. So it's not they're out for the year, nothing to that nature. You've got, Braden Fisk that we brought in that he was already injured previous, but he's on minor. He can only do certain things at practice, spring practice. So he's a partial right now, but he is getting work in. You've got Darrell Jackson that, still waiting on a waiver. You've got one more that's waiting. I can't remember his name right now, but we're still waiting on another one for a waiver. Very, very optimistic that both waivers are going to go through. So I'm going to – Jeff, you kill me, buddy. I swear the way you support the channel is amazing. Jeff said, in my opinion, I think Mike Norvell is building a juggernaut if we have a season like I think we're going to have. We stay on top for a while. Jeff, there was a question. I was watching Polk's show, which is Seminoles. Why can't I remember his channel right now? I can't remember the name of Polk's show right now, but
Seminole TV.
I know it's Seminole TV. I can't remember the area code that he uses. But anyways, y'all know who Polk is. He had a question on there, with do we fall off bad in 2024? I think you see our offense dip a little bit, not much, but a little bit because of the production that you're going to be losing. Because you got to look at it like this. In 2024, you're probably going to lose 863 Seminoles TV. You're probably going to lose Jared Verse. You're going to lose JT. You're going to lose quite a few guys on offense. But Johnny's going to be gone. There's going to be quite a few gone. Running back that's gone and Trey Benson. But with who you've got coming up behind them and who's going to be here for quite some time, Fabo's going to be gone. But who's behind them are going to be big. Robert Scott will be gone. But I think with who you've got coming in from the 22 class is really who's going to show how pivotal we are, how great we can be because of who we recruited in 22. It's their year to shine now, 24 being their first shining year. And I think they will. So I don't think we fall off too bad. I think A.J. Duffy ends up being the guy. I really do. I don't think it's Tate Rodemaker. Love what he did coming in that second half of that game, getting the W for us. But I don't think that Tate Rodemaker is the future for Florida State right now. Now, Tate can prove me wrong, just like he proved a lot of people wrong that he didn't have it in him to win a ball game. So I just haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to put that on a wait and see moment. But what I'm seeing from A.J. Duffy right now, AJ's just not a vocal person. He doesn't talk a lot. Maybe once he gets the control, Maybe he'll start speaking up. Maybe he'll start being much louder. But right now, he's not that kid. He's just not loud. But what he is very efficient. He does very well at what he's doing. He's making very good passes. Um, he's learning the offense very well. The playbooks become no issue for him at this time. He's making just very pristine, tight throws, very tight spiral. And that's something that people were impressed with when recruiting him. How well he threw the ball, how tight of a spin it had on it, how accurate he was. He doesn't put the ball in danger. He keeps it in a relatively good spot. So I think AJ Duffy is the near future of Florida State. But Brock Glenn has absolutely been amazing. His first spring here, he's doing a good job. Will he be competition for AJ Duffy moving forward? Absolutely believe so. And then, next year with the 23 class, you're going to have Luke Kromenhoek coming in. And I'm telling you right now, that kid is talented as talented gets. And, everybody's worried about going and getting a quarterback in the transfer portal, and I don't think you need it next year. I really don't. I do not think you need to go after a quarterback. I think this room is extremely deep. I think it's healthy. I think that it's going to do very well, to be honest. Is LSU the toughest game on FSU's schedule next year? I think so, as far as Drew England, what he wrote. In my opinion, LSU is the toughest game. If you were to go based off of paper alone, yes, I would definitely say that LSU is going to be the toughest game for Florida State. Here's the good part. They did lose some key pieces. They are trying to put a team together they did very well in the transfer portal. They did well on their first recruiting class with Brian Kelly. But I think Florida State has their number. I think Florida State's even better this year than they were last year when they beat LSU. I don't think LSU has become much better. I think they're very similar to what they were last year, maybe a touch better, but I think Florida State has exceeded past what they even were last year. How hot Florida State was, going into the bowl game last year. We didn't have the greatest bowl game appearance, but it was good enough. We did have some people out, so it's not the end of the world. But I do believe that LSU is the toughest game on the schedule at this time, especially if you go based off of what's on paper. But Florida State, I think, can handle that game. The only reason that I would give Clemson a slight edge, not that they're a better team, but we're playing them at Clemson. It's a hard place to play. They don't lose there often. Clemson is a little bit overrated. They probably will be I think 9-3 team, 8-4 bottom, 9-3 at best. Yes, that's not very different, but that's about where they are, in my opinion. But it's very possible that their schedule is not that tough, so it's possible for them to pull 10 wins. But I do believe they lose to us in the ACC championship. I can't say that we're gonna beat them at home right now. I have to see how the season starts going. But moving forward a little bit into how important it is, this being Legacy Weekend coming up. It technically starts tomorrow. Tomorrow's generations of FSU talent will be in attendance. So you've got Winston will be joined by Jalen Ramsey and Derwin James, Cam Akers, Keir Thomas, Jermaine Johnson, Joshua Corbin, and Snoop Menace. That is a lot of guys that we've got coming back this weekend. Huge news. Jay Sean. Oh, what did I say his name was?
Joshua.
Oh, I did read that wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. Corbin. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Zero. I know who he is. I just said his name wrong. Joshua, just whatever his name is. Corbin. Y'all know the dude. Zero. He'll be back. Snoop Menace, he stays around like all the time. Winston being back is huge. Jalen being back is huge. Akers, that I did not know was coming back, is huge. Keir Thomas being back is huge. Jermaine being back yet again. He was there yesterday, and now he's back. He's going to be here this weekend as well. I don't think he left. I think he just stayed here in Tallahassee. is huge. Um, Huge standout for today in practice was Jaheim Bell. He stood out hugely in today's practice. He got a catch from Duffy, started with a strong break out of a route where he gained, you know, he gets very good separation. Deion Sanders will not be in town, seeing how he's the head football coach in Colorado. But Deion didn't come back a lot before that. Deion didn't really show up a whole lot. Yeah, Jermaine has been there for a couple of days. He's been working out with the guys. So if you know how he ain't going back to Georgia, he ain't going back to where he was from. He came back to Florida State. Consider himself a Seminole. So I appreciate it from Jermaine. Y'all know everybody. I think everybody loved Jermaine. Um, let's see. Another one that stood out today was Hakeem Williams. Hakeem made a very tough catch on the sideline. Very tough. And I mean, I don't know if y'all have seen pictures of Hakeem Williams, but he does not look like a freshman. That kid looks like he's been here for a couple of years. Looks like he's ready to go. I think Hakeem might be a little underrated, to be completely honest with you. It's his true freshman year. I get it, but this kid is a special talent. Um, I think that he could prove that he's a generational talent, to be honest. I think that what his abilities are, and how capable he is of being coached, he's very open to being coached. Man, I think Hakeem Williams' ceiling is so high that we haven't seen it in quite some time, to be honest. I think Hakeem's going to be huge for Florida State in the near future, and definitely for the future of the program. My biggest thing with Hakeem is how coachable he is. Dugans can't say enough about how well he listens and implements those things into his craft. So when he says things like that, Dugans is a nice guy, but Dugans ain't somebody that just gives a whole lot of comments. He's not that person. He don't just throw out a whole bunch of comments because he worked. When you go back and look what Dugans did at Florida State and who was around him, he's used to playmakers. He's used to that high level intensity. He's used to people making the play when nobody else can. So to say stuff like he is about Hakeem, it's very special. Very, very special what Hakeem's doing at Florida State in his very first spring with the NOLES. With what Florida State's got moving right now, it's very special to me because it's starting to look like a true Seminole football product. It's not that it's not imitating. It doesn't look like we're mimicking what Bobby had. We're not mimicking what Jimbo had. We're loading up for the style of play that we have, but it looks like a Florida State product, if that makes sense to you when I say that. What I mean by that is that it's being produced at such a high level. It's being put out there as long as you do your job, each individual does their job, it will be a well-oiled machine, and we will move forward to win ball games. And I think I don't think I know, but based off of what I saw last year, what I'm seeing in spring practice, it's very, very enlightening to what's going on. Early, absolutely amazing. Jalen Early's doing a great job. I'm going to say this right now. Other than Robert Scott, because y'all know that's my buddy, and it ain't because he's my buddy, I'm saying he's my favorite offensive lineman. But he is my favorite. But if I had to pick a second favorite offensive lineman, it's transfer Casey Roddick. That young man is a absolute beast. His footwork, how quick he is to get off of a block, on a screenplay, or even on the outside, how he gets off of blocks, how quick he is to the outside, how quick he is on the interior move. He's just well coached, and he's doing even better than what he was doing previous at Colorado because he's gotten some really good coaching from Atkins. And here's the crazy part: it just started. He went through tour of duty, but what's really crazy is we're just now seeing spring practice, and this young man is just an absolute stop. It's a wall. You can't get around it. So that's who I would say is my second favorite offensive lineman. And like I've told everybody, it all starts with the trenches. Florida State now has the best trenches that it's had in nearly 10 years. This is the best offensive line and best defensive line that I've seen out of Florida State in a minimum of 10 years. It absolutely 100% is the best that I have seen. Because I've told people, even Jameis' last year, how many times he was hit, how many times he was sacked, was very concerning, and it got worse. So it's very important that we realize what is winning us ball games. That's loading the trenches. Having depth in the trenches is absolutely the way you win championships. You have to have the trenches filled on offensive line so you can move the ball forward. Then you also have to be able to stop other people, run, stop, pass, etc. You have to do those things, and Florida State has not been at this depth in a very long time. So that's why you see a lot of people getting extremely hyped up about this season coming because of how much depth we have in the trenches. So my thoughts on DeMarco Ward. DeMarco is going to be special for Florida State. I don't see him making a huge impact this year, but I do see him making a huge impact in 2024. I think in 2024 he'll be ready to go. I think he'll understand more of it. He's very easy to coach. He's like a sponge. He really understands what's going on, but he's trying to catch up to speed. One guy that I'm going to talk about that I'm impressed with, but I want to see him take that next step quicker than he has, is Kyle Morlock. I think he's a great piece that we've got, but I don't think that he's catching on as fast as some of the others. So I want Kyle to progress a little bit quicker, but nothing to worry about. He's doing a good job. I just want to see a great job. Same thing with DeMarco, doing a good job. Just he could take that next step and it'd be a great job. NOLES baseball will start a series against Pitt on Friday at 6. The former players that will be honored during the Friday baseball game is rumored that Winston could throw out the first pitch. So that's cool. And I'm going to go ahead and say if Winston's there on Friday, Winston's throwing out the first pitch. That's not a rumor. Like if Winston's there, he's going to the baseball field, and he's going to throw out the first pitch. I'm willing to bet that. I don't think that's a rumor. I think that's 100% factual. If he's there Friday, I believe he throws out the first pitch. Is it this Friday or is it Saturday that we honor Buster Posey?
I think it's the next day.
Saturday. Yeah, so we honor Buster Posey the following day. Yeah, Winston, exactly. Winston will throw at 95. Winston got – y'all remember that play where he threw it from right field to third base and just lasered that guy out? That's what Jameis does. He's got an arm. When you throw a football 57, 58 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, you throw a baseball 90, 95 all day long. And see, what I want to say about that, DJ, is I 100% agree. Morlock will be a huge surprise. I 100% agree with you. I think you're right on the money. All I'm saying is I think the playbook is something he's having a little bit of trouble with. I think it's just a little bit intense right now. I don't think he's had enough time, to be honest. Doing a good job, just not doing above and beyond what I think he can do. But once it clicks here, then all the rest of it's just muscle memory, and he'll be fine. I 100% agree. And I appreciate what Raymond is in here. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Ramon.
Is it Ramon? Let me know.
Yeah.
Ramon. I think it's Ramon. So I agree with what he's saying, and I appreciate the support. He says, greetings, Chris, and chat room. He also says, please hit the like button. Share this with your folks. Please do that. The more likes that this gets, the more it hits the algorithm. The more shares that it gets, the more it hits the algorithm. There's a share point down at the bottom. If you can't close out the chat, it says share. If you click that and copy the link and share that later on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just send in a text message to your Florida State friends, absolutely, please do that. I'm asking everyone to spread the word about Spread Addicts as much as they possibly can. Usually I have James Coleman and Chip Westerly are prime on with us. James is at his son's practice, I believe. Prime had something to do tonight as well, and Chip has a hard time making it on Thursday because of work. So I told him tonight, we're getting close to spring break. Take off, no big deal. I'll take the show. We've got going back to football real quick. We've got multiple targets that are coming this weekend. We've got 5-star tight end Landon Thomas, which is the one that's committed to Georgia verbally. We're trying to flip him, and we're doing a very good job. This will be his third or fourth time back. So he really likes what's going on in Florida State with the tight end room. Obviously, you see Morlock, Bell, Biscuit. Who is in the tight end room are going to be special. Then you've got 5-star Cam Davis that's going to be there. You've got 4-star DB. I'm going to go with his last name, Solomon. And then you've got 4-star wide receiver James Madison, 4-star defensive tackle Kamarion Franklin. He's from Lake Cormorant, Mississippi. I like getting the Mississippi guys. They do a good job here. Jarian Jones, Cam Akers. We've had quite a few guys. Corbin. We've had quite a few guys come from the state of Mississippi that do really good here. Then you've got 4-star offensive tackle Jonathan Daniels. And what I get out of this is I'm very happy for all the newcomers and guys that are just revisiting. But the one that I think that you roll out the red carpet for, that you make sure he understands that this is his home because he's a must-keep, is Cam Davis. Florida State is already doing a much better job at recruiting him. He committed early. And he did say a couple weeks back that his options were still open. He was going to take visits to LSU, Tennessee, Georgia, etc. But for now, he was still committed to Florida State. And Florida State really started heating up the recruiting on him. And that's very, very good. We have to keep him in this class because you're building your offense around Cam Davis and Luke Cromenhall. And that offense can be very special. With Fryer coming, that kid's lightning fast, great hands, just like his dad. There's just certain guys that you're building this whole thing around, and it's very, very necessary that you keep those guys on board. Cam being the one that I'm most worried about right now. The reason so is because, he's been so locked down to Florida State, and then he opened up a couple weeks ago that he was going to be taking visits elsewhere. That could be nothing, but you make sure that you do your damnedest to make sure that he knows that he's wanted here at Florida State and that there's no questions asked. There's nothing left, unturned. Every rock's been flipped over. Everyone knows everything. There's transparency. You really understand that you are very much wanted and needed here at Florida State. The biggest thing that I really, really love about what Norvell does on the recruiting trail, and this is what all of the athletes respect, Atkins included, all of them included. They don't tell them bullshit. They don't lie to them. They tell them it's going to be hard. It's going to be one of the hardest things that you do. We're going to push you to your best, to your highest limits. And we don't think you know what that is yet because you haven't went through what we're going to put you through. And that's very true because I think that everyone on here that's listening right now and who will watch this later or hear this later, that you can agree that Florida State's developing side is second to none. If you go look at paper, the talent that they had last year, go up and down that paper, and you look at what they came out as recruits, how they fell into place, etc., and you see how well Florida State's developed these young men, second to none. I'd say second to none as far as Alabama goes, second to none as far as Georgia goes, because here's the difference. Georgia and Alabama's got a bunch of high 4-star and 5-star athletes that are supposed to perform at that level. Am I stating that those coaches aren't doing a good job? Oh, absolutely. You don't repeat in college football, and that's not a huge deal. That is an absolute amazing achievement. Doing it once is absolutely amazing, but doing it twice in a row, that's absolutely amazing. Being the favorite for the third time in a row, yeah, they're doing a great job. I'm just saying developmental-wise, Florida State's second to none. I'm telling you that. I'm being dead honest. Are we recruiting at the highest level? Not so much. Are we getting better? Are we doing a much better job? Absolutely. We're doing a phenomenal job for the 2024 class. We're really starting to heat up on the 25 class, and we ain't even there yet. But we've got a couple guys that are already committed for 25. When you already start seeing that play out, that means Florida State's hot on the trail. It means they're doing their job. And if you're watching right now or listening, make sure that you go to YouTube and subscribe. That's 100% free. I have members. There's 3 levels. You can be a silver chief, a gold chief, or a platinum chief. Each different price frames. If you go check that out, you get gifts. You get entered into winning tickets to tailgates, to games, to the ACC championship. It enters you in a whole bunch of different things. It is a monthly cost, but I do a very good job at giving back to the people that support the channel, that's supporting the athletes at Florida State. So if you would kindly become a member, please check it out. If you can't yet, completely understandable. Not begging, not trying to force that on anyone, but I am asking you to just slightly hit the subscribe button because that's completely free and you only do it once. It's not like every time you watch my show you got to hit subscribe. Just do it one time. That's it. What's really cool about Fitz's situation right now, the kicker. A lot of people got down on him because he missed a few because they tried to change his mechanics. And then he went back to his 3-step drop, 2-step, whatever it was that they changed. It was his 3-step that he was good. 2-step messed him up. So he got to go back to his 3-step drop, and he was able to start making his kicks again. But this new guy that's come in is really putting competition on him. And to be completely honest, this young man that is in here is doing a phenomenal job of getting Fitz to be at the top of his game all the time. And sometimes that's all it takes is a little bit of a spark, a little bit of competition, and you get the best. Iron sharpens iron. You hear that so many times it becomes a cliche, but it's the truth. Like, a lot of things can be considered a cliche, but the truth is, when something's a fact, cliche or not, iron sharpens iron. So to have someone in there competing with him is absolutely amazing because you can already see the hypeness around it, how much better he's trying to perform. He's got that competition there, so that's great. I'm going to read this comment real quick. I think the kids really like how the coaches pitch the future they could have at FSU, especially the truthfulness. I 100% agree. That's exactly what I was talking about. I couldn't have said it better myself. I do believe that everyone that is talking to Atkins, if you know what, I don't usually do this. Go check out Noel Game Day's interview with Camden, Fryer, and is it Caden or Camden? Fryer. Camden. So go check out Camden, Fryer, and Luke Cromenhawk's interview with Noel Game Day, Logan Robinson, and Dustin Lewis. Go check out that interview. It was amazing. They did a phenomenal job. Camden that kid's got to be one of the most hilarious that I've ever heard interviewed. His way of speaking, he's very clear, but the words that he uses, he gets me going pretty good. But they said that when other teams were recruiting them, they were like, "You sure you want to go there? You sure you want to go there? Atkins is doing such a good job. He's probably going to be a head coach somewhere. You sure you want to go there and then lose your offensive coordinator?" So them saying that lets you know that people are recognizing across the country what Florida State's doing. They recognize how well Atkins is doing. They recognize how well Florida State as a program is doing. I try to tell people, regardless of who was here, regardless of who the coach was, that Florida State would be back. Because Bobby didn't build something that was going to last short term. Bobby, in my opinion, really laid the foundation that some serious 20-year bad stuff would have to happen to eliminate what Florida State has accomplished and what Bobby Bowden has built. It's not, you can't kill it. I believe that hard work and that sweat equity that was put in by Coach Bowden, it's never going anywhere. It's, when you build something to that dominant level, it's, there's still people in that program that have seen dominance. They were around when Bobby was here. They know what it looks like. Former players that are coming back. Jimbo knew exactly what he had to live up to when he took over from Coach Bowden. And being able to see excellence the way that he did helped him so much, in my opinion. And then that's the difference. When you lose a coach and you get a brand new one that's unproven, You don't really know which way things are going to go, but it also allows, the guys that have been here, not just players, but administration, are like, you know what? This guy doesn't have that killer instinct. He doesn't have that dominance level of coaching. So they know when it's time to move on. Um, and I think that the hire on Mike Norvell was absolutely amazing. I think it was 100% down to the T of they knew Norvell was that hard worker, was not going to stop until we were back at the dominant level, no matter what adversity was thrown his way. His first couple of years, that Florida State was going to achieve. They were going to exceed what was necessary. And, in 2.5, 3 short years, Norvell really got Florida State back on one of our harder schedules. That wasn't an easy schedule we played last year. It's not an easy we're playing this year, but it's a little bit more obtainable because of how well Florida State's doing. And some of the guys that we're playing this year are falling off. I think Clemson obviously has taken a step back. Is it a huge step? Probably not, but it's big enough that Florida State can capitalize off of it. Miami's been down for quite some time. Right now, Norvell can't lose to Miami 2 in a row. And then you've got, we lost to the Gators the year previous, but this past year, with Billy Napier at the helm of things, we were able to pull that win off. So what Florida State has done, I don't like that people try to belittle it. Will we beat a 6-6 Gator team? I try to tell people that Gator team was much better than what their record indicated. They lost a lot of close games, 1. 2, look at the guy that might be recruited number 1 overall. Wasn't considered a great quarterback in Florida, but how athletic he is and the potential that he has, very well could be the first pick of the draft. And that was unheard of. No one would have ever anticipated that. James talked about it, and he really thought he could be way back some time ago. Hunter asked, "Hey, Chris, have you heard anything about how Azaria Thomas is doing in spring?" Amazing. Dude, Azaria is a freak athlete. He's got size. He's added size. Very fast, very alert. Knows where everybody's supposed to be on the field. Very good position-wise. Makes the right choice, whether he comes up first or takes that step back, whether he angles to the left of the field, short side, right, or he goes to the long side in. He really understands what's going on. He really gets the defensive scheme. Azaria is nothing that like that kid. Brain, mental, physical capability, speed, precision, due per excellence. I will say, I will be 100%. I think it's per excellence. The young man's going to be very special for Florida State. Let's talk about something that's a little bit controversy, maybe. Let's go this route. People want to know if there's actual behind-the-scenes things that are going on. Do coaches from other teams really reach out to guys that aren't in the transfer portal? Does that happen? Yeah. I can tell you for a fact it does. I'm not going to tell you who. Nope. Because I don't want nobody getting in trouble. But I can 100% tell you that coaches have reached out to people that are not in the transfer portal. And they offer these kids certain amounts of money. NIL-wise, they offer these kids starting positions. They offer these kids the world. And these kids, Azaria, I would think would be one that everybody would offer, right? I would think so. Am I confirming that they did? Absolutely not. I'm just using as a mere possibility. Let's just say someone did. He turned them down. Not only him, others. And I'm just stating this as a mere possibility. Huge standout for Florida State in the spring. Jumping back a little bit. Huge standout that just got here. Lamont Green Jr. Lamont Green Jr. Boots is absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it. I'm so excited for what Lamont Green Jr. is going to do at Florida State. Phenomenal athlete. Very smart. Is in the right spot. Knows the move that he needs to make. He's wreaking havoc the other day on the offensive line. Very shifty. Gets around people quick. Gets in between the splice. Gets in between the gap. He just knows what he's doing. Um, I actually think he's playing better at Florida State than he was even in high school. He was very high up in the high school last year. Very high up. But he has taken a step with just a little bit of coaching and tour of duty that he's gotten and has really implemented into his craft. Very impressed with what Lamont Green Jr. is doing. Very impressed with another one that's not a lot of people are talking about is Winston Wright Jr. Winston has been on punt returns, has yet to muff a punt, has yet to miss one, has caught things in stride. He's very good at what he does. If you would like to see him in action, go watch him back at West Virginia. He is a huge weapon for us when it comes to special teams, huge weapon in the slot for wide receiver. But I mean, on punt returns, that kid is going to be explosive. It is very exciting to see. Hunter, you're 100% correct. Working with his dad probably is the reason why. I think Senior probably gave him a crash course of what college ball is going to be like, and he's just a sponge, man. He accepted every bit of it. Oh yeah, I remember. I didn't laugh at the water gun trick. I really didn't. I thought it was something good, to be honest. But Hunter says if y'all can't see his, those are just listening or on a different platform. Hunter says, side note, I saw a clip of him today in practice. Remember when we were laughing at them for the water gun? Yeah, I remember. Oh, okay, I got you. Other fans were laughing about the water gun. I got you. Okay. Not our fans, but other fans. I got you. I think some of our fans, even media, kind of criticized it too, though. I don't think that. I know that. I know I've seen the article that a couple of them wrote. Why are we using a water gun? What are we doing? Why show that clip? Even James said that. Why are we showing that clip? But man, it's the little things like that that can catch someone's attention and it knocks their attention off of doing their job. So I think it's important to do those little things, even if it's a water gun, if it's throwing a cone up in the air at the same time, whatever the situation is, trying to stop their focus and them staying focused. That's trained. And I believe it's very important. So I like the water gun trick. Water coming at you is damn near invisible, especially when you're looking for a football, and that hits you right in the face before the ball drops. That's not an easy task. I'm telling y'all right now, one of the hardest things on a football field to do is to field a punt or a kickoff. It is not easy. You throw in someone shooting a water gun at you or throwing a cone up in the air at the same time or pushing you in the back or screaming really loud at you unexpectedly, those things can knock your focus off. And I think it's very important to do those things. It is a corrections drill, and it's very effective. I agree with DJ. 100% agree. So I'm going to jump into this a little bit. I want y'all to do me a favor as fans. I want you to go, after the show ends, I want you to go look at some spring practice clips of Miami, some spring practice clips of the Gators, and some spring practice clips of Clemson and LSU. I want you to come back and rate those 1 through whatever, how many teams I just said, 1 through 5, 1 through 4, whatever I gave you. Rate those 1 through 5 and tell me where Florida State falls in between those. Whoever I think gets this right, I will be sending out multiple patch cards to you. Jameis Winston, Devontae Freeman, Dalvin Cook, Kelvin Benjamin patch cards. Whoever gets it to me first, correct. You cannot rate it now. If you go ahead and rate it now, I will not give it to you. I will not give you anything. But if you, 10 minutes after this video is over, you go look at those and you come back and you give me those comments, I will tell you who wins. And those are very nice cards, by the way. This is one of them of Jameis. That's his patch. Devontae Freeman's right underneath him. There's quite a few of them that I've got that I will send you if you get it right. With that said, I've got about 6 minutes left. This was a little bit of an unconventional episode. I'm used to having people on to bounce off of, but I used to do this by myself so much that it didn't bother me to have to do this one by myself because I can talk about Florida State football all day and all night. So, but there were things that were a little bit unorthodox. Kind of work with me here. I'm trying to trying to pull the show off by himself. I think that it all in well did very well. I think that Florida State's moving in the right direction. I think Florida State could end up having a Cinderella type year. Can't really say Cinderella because I think they're expected to do good, but I think they could really pull off a huge, huge season. I think it could be amazing. Um, it's 20, what is it, 30 years since 93, 10 years since 13, whatever it's been. It's all anniversaries this year. 2025 4-star running back Tavon Swift. Is that what I saw? Make sure I'm right. Yep. Tavon Swift has FSU in his top 8, which is amazing. This young man, go check his videos out as well. An absolute beast from the running back position. Then we've got, here's a couple more that are coming in. So that's what I'm going to end this on. 2024 4-star linebacker Aaron Childs has FSU in his top 10. 2024 4-star athlete Kalen Fox has FSU in his top 15. 2025, I ain't going to try to say his first name. I ain't even going to say that man's name. I don't know how to say that man's name. Farrakhan? That's his name? Oh, wow. Okay. So Farrakhan is a 2025, has us in his top 5 list. So we've got quite a few top 5s, top 8s, top 15s, top 10s. And these are all trajectorying in the right way. I shared with our members last year, I shared with them how you could tell what 2 schools it was really between. If you become a member on Sporadics, I will send you the when you can look at their graphics, I can tell you. It's something they all set up themselves, okay? There's a way that you can tell what 2 teams it's actually between. So if you become a member, I will share that with you. If I haven't shared that with you, message me. I'll give you the reasoning behind it on which teams are actually on the top, if you want to know. With that said, everybody, we've got about 3 minutes left. 2 minutes left. I want everyone to take this time to, if you haven't became a booster, check out my guy James Warren. Become a booster. He will help you out in every way. He has huge benefits that you don't get on online. So if you want to become a member, please make sure that you reach out to me and I will get you hooked up. I actually put James's link in the bottom part of the description after the video ends. And do not forget that if you are a member on March 15th, which is Wednesday of next week, I will be dropping a video with James Coleman and myself interviewing the athletic director of Florida State, Michael Alford. We will be interviewing Michael Alford on Wednesday, and if you are a member, you will see that video first. And non-members will see it the following day, but if you are a member, you will receive that content first. It's going to be a very good interview. Very excited for this interview. Michael Alford is an amazing athletic director, an even better man. So I look, hugely forward to it. Can't wait to see all that happen. James is an awesome man. James Warren is a great guy. I've sent a lot of people to him here in the past couple of months. He's very impressed with everyone that I've sent his way. Everybody has done a phenomenal job. Even if they renewed, he was very excited to help them, maybe help them with things that they might not have had past. But everything is going very well here at Florida State. Spirit Addicts is on fire. We're growing at a rapid rate. Y'all keep subscribing, keep following the pages. Love each